I wanted to give you guys a message for the retrograde. One of many that are coming for the retrograde season, and it's fun here. Um, I'm getting my cards together, but Saturn is still retrograde. It does take a little bit of extra time for Saturn to finally pull off into retrograde motion. So we're still stationary. Retrograde actually does not officially begin until 4:30, 4:31 p.m. on the 27th today, because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, 4:39 p.m. And that's CST. I'm on CST, y'all. So it'll be like 5 something y'all time. Yes. So right now, being present, Saturn is still stationary. It's not officially moving backwards yet. It's in a standstill. And so, you guys might, some of you guys be ahead of time with the things. And so you guys already feel the retrograde motion. Some of you guys feel the stationary motions. It is, what it is. But Saturn is actually in stationary right now in Aries zodiac, but we're still in Pisces constellation. It's a 24, hey, peace, love. It's a 24-degree difference between the tropical and the Vedic chart. So Saturn is about challenges. It's about the challenges that, we receive in our life that give us a sense of understanding, as Saturn rules over Bina, which is the third Sephiro. Seker is the third Netter. This is our level of understanding. And understanding is kind of like our conclusion of things. We get rooted in this, right? Saturn rules over the root chakra. So we get rooted in our sense of understanding, and it's our understanding of how we interpret and ingest the challenges in our space. A lot of us are in these spaces where, like, we hear a lot of trigger words. Trauma is a big one. So we label a lot of our challenges as trauma, traumatic experiences, and things of that nature. And that's what we're rooted in. That's how we make our decisions based upon our quote unquote traumas that have come into our life and have shaped us and molded us. These are the roots that, our tree of life grow out of. And it's all about, learning how to transmute those traumas, and see them more so as challenges that have helped discipline you, give you the discipline, the restrictions that are necessary in your behavior and how you carry yourself, in your interactions with other people, places, things, situations, that are conducive to the things that you want to do. Like, what kind of tree do you want to be? What kind of fruit do you want to bear in your harvest? A lot of that is rooted in your Saturn space, where Saturn is at for you. If you're in, my generational realm of things, which is what, like 89, 90, a little bit of 91 maybe, you have your Saturn and Capricorn energy. A lot of our roots are in those challenges. We are the definition of trauma, because Saturn and Capricorn ain't nothing to play with. Um, you find out in your what house that energy is in, and that's your where your life is applicated at, right? Right now Saturn is in 12th house, so it's in the house of endings and completion, inspiration, spiritual direction, sensitivities. So we're ending some of the things that are in our root chakra. And I do see that. I see that in our education system, a lot of things that we've been taught, a lot of miseducation, a lot of misguidance, mislabeling that we've been rooting ourselves in as a nation, as a culture, as a race, as tribes, as women, as men, as children, different age demographics and generations, empires, corporate governments, all of these things are being uprooted. A lot of endings in our beliefs and the deception, because Pisces energy also deals with deception, and manipulation in its own right. And we're making space for new beginnings. Aries is also very abrupt. There's not like much of a buffered space with Aries. Aries is kind of like, all right, I make left, good luck. Like, and so, I know with Saturn into Aries, it may seem like a lot of stuff is happening all at once and it can get very overwhelming. And why is the fire burning? And why won't the fire stop? And I'm getting tired. I'm getting exhausted. I'm getting burnt out. I'm getting stressed. All these different things. And that's because that's the speed of Aries. Like Aries is the style of Saturn that we're in right now. And it's very abrupt. It's very big. It's the initiator. It's not really asking for permission to do anything. It's just taking initiative. We're just going to do this, this, and this, and this. It can be very violent, unpredictable because it is the one. Here we're dealing with blood pressure, so any type of stressors there. Here we're dealing with the gut, so a lot of the food recalls and stuff like that are all in alignment because, and then mind pollutants too because the gut controls the mind. So a lot of that is happening here during this space and time too with Saturn. And remember, Saturn are challenges to give you strength. If you guys are absorbing all of the Aries Saturn experiences as trauma, that's exactly what it's going to be. Karma, Saturn rules over karma. A lot of people just label karma as a bad thing. Karma is always bad. Karma is not a bad thing. Karma just means energy. You can have good karma and bad karma. It's where your karma is for you. So there are some things in your rooted in your root chakra that need to be uprooted, that need to be transmuted in how you've been ingesting it and carrying it. Some of the roots need to be snipped off. Some of the roots just need to be looked at differently. You're just looking at it a little incorrectly, and for that reason, you're going about your root chakra in an incorrect way. And so that's what Saturn and Neptune is like. Look at your belief system. Look at your sensitivities. Is this creating the flowers and the fruit that you want to eat? And if it's not, then let's go back to the root chakra and fix that. Aries is, the chariot. We're getting the things going. We're getting the things moving. And like I said, we're not asking for permission. We're not slowing down. Do y'all know how quick a forest fire occurs? It occurs very quickly, y'all. I just let y'all know. It occurs very fast. So a lot of things that we're rooted in is being like just kind of ripped right up under us. Like, how like the waiters be pulling the tablecloths off the table real quick and the dish is still there. Like that's how quick it's happening. And Saturn also deals with authority and infrastructure, and so we see a lot of endings in our belief system with that too, right? A lot of beliefs that we had in our infrastructure and our the people that we have put in authority. We put the people in lab coats and suit and tie and government positions, corporate. Some people had celebrities as authority. Some people had religious leaders. Some people had, their grandparents or whoever, at your job. It was certain CEOs and bosses that are stepping down. All, all of this is in alignment to Saturn being in Aries, making those new beginnings, okay? And so that's what we have happening with that. With Saturn going in retrograde, it's going to be repeating degrees in Aries. So we're going back to kind of see if you still have some things in your root that you want to let go of, that you want to cleanse, that, showing you a mirror of some of the karmic energy that you're still sensitive about, that you're still allowing to have control over the fruit that you bear. And that doesn't always mean, everything needs to be cut off, everything needs to be changed. Some of you guys like what you're rooted in. Some of you guys like how you're rooted, and you don't want to change those things. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Also realize that there's energies around us that are going to be like sweeping back over. Like, remember that old court case? Remember this old political campaign? Remember this old issue coming back up? You remember those old war tactics coming back up? Remember when this conspiracy theory said this one upon a time, that coming back up, a lot of these things, because Aries is also, springtime, the spring awakening. And this is a grand awakening happening on our infrastructure that's causing for new beginnings too. Aries puts the spotlight as, you know, the sun starts coming, right? It's the spring equinox. That's when we start getting more, you know, sunlight. We get to equal level, and now we're having more sunlight than nighttime, right? And so you can see like the spotlight is being shown on the infrastructure, the authority, the roots of the things that have been in the dark for so long are now coming to light, especially when we were in Pisces and we were bringing a lot of things that were in the deep, deep darkness of waters and the subconscious to the light with Saturn, right? So now we are, you know, burning it, you know, prescribed burning is happening here, and we love it here, right? We do. All right, so that's Saturn. If you want to get into your personal Saturn, let me know. But Saturn going in retrograde, repeating degrees in Aries, you know, it does have an effect on other cardinal energies. Like we have Libra, which is in opposition. So once we get into Libra season, a lot of those Libra placements more so are personal, like when we have the sun and the moon, Mercury and Venus, Mars, when Mars starts to hit Libra energy, we will feel we'll definitely feel like that karma coming into those planets and it being very abrupt, very quick, very follow your gut with your emotions, follow your gut with your experiences, follow your gut with your desires, follow your gut with your decision making and how to be of service and how you organize yourself, like, you know, and being your truth with it. Because if you're not in your truth with it, with Saturn right there on the opposite, like I said, Saturn in Aries is very quick, it's very fast, it's very, I don't got time for what the fuck y'all talking about, let's get it done, you know. So Saturn will be over there making things happen real fast. Also, we have, who else is Cardinal? We have Capricorn energy. So when those planets enter Capricorn, which is Cardinal Earth, then that's more so square. Capricorn is more so square Aries. And squares kind of get a bad rep too, because everybody want to demonize squares just like everybody wants to demonize Saturn and Capricorn. And that's because people don't like structure. People don't like restrictions. People don't like challenges, but that's what's necessary. You don't go to the gym and say, hey, I'm going to lift pillows all day. That's not going to give you the muscles that you want, the body or the physique that you desire. You don't go into the grocery store and say, hey, I'm about to eat a whole bunch of like cereal and fried chicken and expect to keep the health care that you want, you know, the health that you desire. You're going to have health issues after a while. Like, so because people kind of like to do away with discipline and order and restrictions and stuff like that, they innately, you know, demonize the square, and people who worship Saturn and Capricorn and the square and stuff, they're demonic, but they're not. They just know the power of discipline. They know the power of structure. They know the power of creating infrastructure into things. Like, think about it. Like, quote unquote, is the Jews, certain Jews that, you know, really praise the square. And look how structured they are as a community, to where they collectively utilize government benefits. They collectively utilize housing. They do a lot of things as collective because they recognize what's necessary in the squares. They recognize what's necessary in the 90 degrees. Same thing with like the Masons, you know, they recognize the importance of a square, you know, and so we have to recognize the importance of it if we want to have, you know, if you want to really manifest certain things. Like I said, Saturn rules over Bina, this is Seker, that's 3. 3 is creation. You want to create something in this physical space, you have to abide by the laws of physics, right? And metaphysics, and the universal laws, and human laws, and civil, like there's so many laws that you have to undergo. And it's a matter of like, well, who are you declaring to be the authority over these different laws, you know, to create what you want to create? That's a whole nother question that you can get into when you put in certain laws into consideration, because, you know, you can have an overactive root chakra that give you a little bit too much laws, and now you're not doing the things you want to do at all. You know, now your sacral chakra is blocked, and so on and so forth. But yeah, coming back to Capricorn energy, because right now we have a Capricorn moon as we get ready for this full moon happening, with the moon being in Capricorn Aquarius energy. You know, right now we have the moon being square Saturn, over there in Capricorn. So, and then the moon is Cancer, which is right. Yeah, the moon is Cancer, rules Cancer, which is opposition of um, Capricorn. I mean, yeah, an opposition of Capricorn. I said it right. And that's where Mercury is, our decision maker, who is also square Saturn right now, and actually just went prograde. So these 90-degree angles are really good because we can build on these 90-degree angles. Mercury is helping with our decision making skills while we repeat some of these karmic energies, and we give thanks that Mercury decided to go prograde when they did, gave us a little bit of time to breathe, get back into the flow of making decisions, get back into the flow of organizing ourselves, get into what our daily routine, our moral and integral codes, our health and wellness, how we want to be of service, our experience with equality, what we put in, what we get out for our harvest and everything like that. So Mercury has, gone back to regular speed to help us while we go through this karmic Saturn. Because, could you imagine if both was retrograde at the same time? That'd be kind of wild. But we will have one of those experiences later on in the fall. Don't worry about it. Your decision making won't be slowed as well as your karmic energy. But, that could be a blessing in disguise too, especially as we start having darker days. You have more time to make decisions on things while Saturn is moving slow, But this can, this time gives you time to speed up, catch up on certain things, being in your own authority, learning some more things, educating yourself on certain things that you want to put in your root chakra. Like, I want new challenges. I want to challenge myself with growing my own food, growing my own medicine, making my own cleaning products from scratch, whether hygiene or house cleaning, starting a new business, embarking on a new educational journey, making friends, making business partnerships, new hobbies, new ventures, a new baby on the way, housing, now the karmic energy has slowed down for you guys to catch up on some decisions y'all want to make, to catch up on how you want to organize yourself in your space, and how you want to set up what you want to create into your space. And that's pretty cool. And then, like I said, on the other side of the square, we have the moon over there in Capricorn energy. And the moon is like nurturing our infrastructure, nurturing our challenges. It's in a style right now. The moon is the nurture, the moon is the safe space, our emotions, our intuition. And now it's in the style of infrastructure right now. It's in the style of authority right now. And, going towards our root chakra. I want to nurture your root chakra while you deal with the stationary energy. I want to nurture your karmic energy, give you insight on some of the karma that may be coming back to you. Pay attention to your dreams, your downloads. Where does your mind go when you hear about karma? Where does your mind automatically go? What's the first thing you think about? In what ways do you think you'll be receiving your karma as we repeat these degrees? As a collective, as a community, as a race, as a tribe, as a human race, what kind of karma are we going to get back as a collective? What have we been doing to Mother Nature? Mother Nature has roots too. And just like our body keeps count, so does Earth. Gaia's body keeps count too. So what kind of karmic energy do you think we'll be receiving back as a people, from the plants and the animals and earth and weather? It's a big one. That's a really big, important one. It's very easy for us to overlook those things because we get so caught up in human shit. But, what about when your individual, your relationships, your safe spaces, your home and family? Have you been pouring into your relationships? Have you been nurturing, your interpersonal relationships, your safe spaces, the things, you create for yourself? Watch that karma come back on you too. Some of you guys be, letting stuff pile up and not paying attention to it. And if out of sight, if out of mind, and how well is that doing for you? What's going to be the result of that karma? So that's for my cardinal energy. We love cardinal energy, right? And I also want to let y'all know right now, the sun is in opposition of Pluto too. So sun is at 4 degrees in Leo zodiac, while Pluto is at 4 degrees in the Aquarius zodiac. And now we're starting to have The North and South Node is about to be locked into Aquarius and Leo soon too. Not entirely locked in because, they keep going forward and backward. Right now, they're at like, what is this? We're at a 1 degree Pisces and a 1 degree Virgo. So we're at the Pisces Virgo. So our mutable signs are being affected by the spiritual nodes. Allow immutable signs to go their spiritual direction and the things that they want to do, while the Cardinal is dealing with the infrastructure and getting things going, sense of authority. And this is wherever these placements are at in your chart. Doesn't necessarily have to be only your sun. Your sun deals with your experiences though, but it could be anywhere else in your chart too. And then my fixed signs, what y'all dealing with? My fixed signs, y'all got it easy breezy right now. Ain't nobody really checking for y'all too hard, except for, y'all about to have the moon over there. Y'all about to have a full moon experience between Aquarius and the Leo. So y'all gonna have that grand awakening there, aligning your third eye, your external and your internal side, and transformations, building and destroying there. You got Jupiter over there in Leo right now, providing expansion and abundance. So it seems like wherever fixed signs are at your chart, y'all having it easy breezy. Y'all having a good time. We nurturing. We're in our experiences. We're expanding. We're in our philosophies. We're being optimistic. We're joyous. Everything's great. Pluto might create some dramatic transformations in your experiences, especially when it comes to society and friendships. Once again, Aquarius not only rules over the Ketters, your first Sephiroth, the ones and zeros, but Aquarius also rules over the internal side of your root chakra, because Aquarius is the thoughts of, your place in society, your awareness of depth of being, your definition of connections that you may have, and Capricorn is how you root yourself in them. So Aquarius is saying, I'm having this experience, I'm having that experience, I have this relationship, I have that relationship, I have these connections, I have those connections, and Capricorn creates the roots for it. So they go hand in hand. So you guys will be experiencing those empowering revelations and expansions. Aquarius also rules over electronic communication too. So we also have friendships and electronic communication, empires rising and falling here. So, in our lifetime, which is pretty interesting, we'll get to see the rise and fall of some of these empires, the map as we know it transforming. Like, I remember learning about this stuff when I was in school, and the map changing and countries and empires and tribes being taken over. And now we get to, we've learned about so much of that, and now we're experiencing it, we're witnessing it in real time through our phones, which is kind of crazy. And also, experiencing the karmic energy. Everything has a chemical equation, and I'd be thinking about, like, us, we're getting that extra, that sidebar, expression off of the chemical equation, like how many O's are coming our way, while you guys are over there making H2O and stuff. I keep dropping on my cards. But yeah, Pluto calls for a transformation here in our experiences. And when we have our full moon will be in alignment with Pluto as well. So we have the moon not only approaching full moon, but also approaching the transformational Pluto. Expect storms, especially rain and thunderstorms, lightning storms. Expect all of that. You can also expect firestorms somewhere, because Leo is on the other side in our experiences with Jupiter, which is also a fire planet, ruling over Sagittarius. So you guys can expect, environmental catastrophes. Also coming back into the space of how have we been treating Mother Earth? How have we been treating the root of all the roots? You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to read y'all out and let y'all go. Hopefully y'all got some journal prompts out of the things I said. I gave y'all something to think about when it comes to your root chakra. please reach out if you would like a retrograde reading, because I do retrograde readings, and how I do those is I align the planets that are going to be in retrograde from now until 2027, and I align them with your personal chart. And how I read your personal chart is I put your celestial bodies into your chakras, and so you can see how the current retrograde planets are affecting your personal astral chakra chart, which is pretty interesting. That's how I do it. That's how I read charts, to show you that the planets are within. Okay, so to read y'all out, we are focusing on Pluto, and I'm still learning the curse of signs, but this is Pluto and Saturn. So that's what the cards want you to focus on, is Pluto and Saturn at the top. You know, our transformations happening over there, that our moon is approaching. And then Saturn is over there about to go through retrograde in Aries. Aries rules over our solar plexus chakra too, by the way. So we're dealing with, you know, those challenges to our solar plexus chakra. A lot of us have had underactive solar plexus chakras for centuries because of the trauma that has been in our root. And that's really deep on a whole lot of levels, as a woman, as a man, as an indigenous American, as someone that has been given so many different labels of who I am, but has absolutely nothing to do with where I came from. You know, it's just a whole bunch of like labels upon labels upon labels, which deals with Saturn. You know, if you keep switching the roots around of the tree, the fruit becomes confused. Like, what kind of tree am I? You keep, you know, switching up the DNA codes. What kind of information are we relaying to, you know, the rest of the cells? You know what I'm saying? So focusing on Pluto and Saturn means focusing on our root chakra, as Pluto's over there creating transformations in our awareness of our depth of society, and Saturn is over there being our root chakra ruler, dealing with our solar plexus, you know, energy. And this deals with stillness. It's time for a sense of stillness, especially as Saturn is stationary right now until 4:30. We have some time. We got a few hours. We got like 14, 15 hours before we feel that retrograde. For now, we could be in stillness. 4 and 7. Remember, I told y'all about that 4, about the squares. We build on the squares. Squares get a bad rep, but we love the squares. Squares bring us stability. Squares, culture, and supreme mathematics. And 7 is God. And when they come together, they make 11, which is the mastery number. Mastering self so well, you become an inspiration to other people around you. This is the master teacher energy, right? So we want to be in our stillness, you know, finding our sense of stability. We love the Empress card here, and the stillness is and focusing on our root chakra is the ingredient for us to come into the Empress card. This could be very invoking for some of you guys, especially some of you guys who have quote unquote trauma in your lives, whether, you know, you had your Capricorn, your Saturn in your 5th house, you know, dealing with childhood trauma. You have Saturn in your 4th house dealing with like mother wounds. A lot of you guys got mother wounds. I've seen a lot of that coming out lately. Some of you guys disguise it in jokes or anger or dismissiveness and detachment, especially on social media. But those things are going to start coming out. You're already revealing themselves in what you choose to repost and read, and what's showing up to you and stuff like that. So, you know, have awareness, journal about it. Why do you have this mother wound? How are you continuing this mother wound in your reality? You know, why do you have these father wounds? Why do you have these inner child wounds? And how are you perpetuating that, you know, currently in your reality? Some of you guys express these wounds in your reality currently in a way that you're comfortable. I don't want y'all to think just because it's karmic energy and we're doing Saturn or we're retrograde that everything has to be cut off. Sometimes the mirror shows up to show you how far you've gotten, because you still keep beating yourself up like there's no progress being made. Some of you guys got to see that it's not always about fixing. Sometimes it's just about being and knowing that you're enough and you're already here. And you don't have to keep fixing. You know what I'm saying? Some of you guys got to start embracing. What about if Saturn is in your third house? Some of you guys have wounds in your sense of community and opportunities you may have overlooked or you took and they did something to you, and now you are worried. Thank you, I appreciate that. And now you're worried about opportunities in the future. I'll never do this again. I'll never try that again. And you're hindering yourself. Now your root chakra is stifling your sacral and your solar plexus and your heart and so on and so forth, you know? Some of you guys have Saturn in the second house and your interpersonal relationships. You guys get where I'm going with this. So you guys line that up for yourself because, like I said, Saturn right now is in the 12th house, and we want to wrap some of that stuff up. We want to get into your sensitivities. We want you to really dig into yourself and what's going on. I really appreciate you, Absolute Chaos. And we have the reverse four of cups. Once again, dealing with them fours. And we're wrapping some things up. We're wrapping up some sensitivities. We're wrapping up some emotions. I want y'all to be in joy. I want y'all to have fun. I want y'all to enjoy the transformation, says Pluto. Yeah, they're dramatic. Yeah, they're big. But look at the things y'all been carrying. Those things have been super dramatic and super big. And I want these dramatic transformations to show y'all don't have to carry them anymore. But it's so crazy. It's like no matter how much drama happens around us, we still want to be resilient and holding on to certain things that they're just not serving us as a community, as a people, as humans. And we know better. Collectively, we have this consciousness that this system is not serving us. The way things are operating do not serve us. Our mindset with education and economics and all these things is not serving us. Now, to some of you guys are being greatly served. And so for y'all reality is hunky-dory. You don't got to change nothing, But for other people who know it's not serving you, what do you want to do different? How you want to do it? Some of y'all need to start coming together. And that's why we have Pluto and Aquarius too, because Aquarius deals with friendships, relationships are here. Your power to be one with all. And so we get out of this mindset that we can control the whole world. And we start to get into this mindset that I can control my reality and I can meet other people that are also controlling their reality, and our realities just seem to align. They seem to mesh and create your own conglomerate, create your own empire. That's how we build and destroy with Pluto, right? I actually flipped two cards here to show you guys what parts of self to focus on. One, we're definitely going to focus on our Tippereth, which is our 6. This is the balance between our upper and our lower self. Tippereth is that Leo energy. That's that Heru energy, our confidence and our courageousness. That's why right here it's the Knight of Cups. We're going to follow our hearts. We're going to allow our hearts to be our compass. Now, if you got callous in your heart, I want you to go back to that root chakra, deal with some of those traumas, those challenges you've been experiencing that's telling you that it's okay to walk around with a callus in your heart and spew that into your space, and realize that some of y'all is hindering y'all. It's holding y'all back from creating conducive relationships for that reality you actually want to be in. I also pulled the Diablo card. I pulled the Devil card, and this is the alignment of your Tippereth with Had. So now we're putting intellect to our heart. We're learning to compartmentalize things with our heart here, okay? Had is Sebek. Sebek gets such a bad rep. That's our Elegua, our intellectual self. But we want to align our intentions with our heart. Again, this comes back to what I was saying about us having that callus in our heart because of how we've been taught to internalize Capricorn, internalize our Saturn experiences, internalize our root chakra, what we've been rooted in. You know what's funny? You know what just came to my mind? So I homeschool my son, and he does not like history. He can't stand it. I've tried to take him to museums, we're watching videos, we're doing hands-on things, he can't stand it. And his reasoning behind it is because it's depressing. Like everything in history is depressing. Even when we're learning about the arts is still surrounded by, oh, well, during this time it was the Great Depression, or, we had the Renaissance, but it was during a time of segregation and all these different things. And we had this beautiful music, but the music was made out of pain and anguish and resilience out of, everything is rooted in anger and war and sadness and slavery and segregation. And so my son sees that, and for that reason, history is not his favorite subject. He do not like it there. You know what I'm saying? And I've tried so many ways to figure out how to teach history to where it's not feeling like it's coming from this soil of negativity and violence. But it's really hard not to, because it really is. That's what we've been rooted in. All of our roots are rooted into it's the colonizers and the colonization and slavery and racism and nationalism and the rise and fall of empires and how the empires treated each other when they conquered each other, even before colonialism. It's everything we've been rooted in is negative and is violent and it's controlling and it's and I just hope that this Saturn experience that we're having right now, especially with Saturn going in retrograde, it'll be getting closer and closer back towards Neptune again too. And hopefully with these experiences, we're learning how to root ourselves in happier soils. Can our roots stop being in this sadness and this anguish and this, yeah, I get it. We get resilience and we get strength, but it keeps coming from a traumatic place rather than we're just great. We're just great. Yeah, we deal with adversities, we deal with challenges. At the end of the day, we're great. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that, I think about. But, compartmentalizing where your heart is coming from. And then we also have the solar plexus card again, focusing on Saturn being over there in Aries, a miracle happening. But that all comes from a state of belief. You know what I'm saying? You got to believe in this stuff. You got to believe that you deserve this. You got to, deal with your karmic energy. And then we have incomplete. Incomplete is the last card. It is a 2. Spirit said, look at the second house. The second house, we have Mars over there in Gemini in the second house. So again, that's dealing with solar plexus chakra because Mars rules over the solar plexus chakra, and it's in that space of community and opportunities. Be mindful of having too many tabs open. We want to say yes to everything. We don't got to say yes to everything. That's what's going to affect our business. But lots of business opportunities, the things that we learn to value and prioritize and increases our self-esteem, a lot of opportunities and communities being generated from that, and that'll be our miracle to our solar plexus chakra, says Mars, that's over there sitting in Aries, that says Saturn and Neptune that's sitting over there. Mars rules Gemini, Mars that rules Aries sitting in Gemini, and Saturn and Neptune over there in Aries. So focus on our solar plexus chakra just as much as we are, Pluto sitting over there in Aquarius. So that is my astrological and tarot reading for you guys. I hope that I was able to speak in such a straight line that made sense, because I felt very spiraled, but I enjoyed the spiral. I got it. I absorbed what I needed to absorb. I hope you guys hear what y'all need to hear. And if you guys just came in on TikTok, I am recorded over on YouTube. You guys can check me out, Less Nobodies, on YouTube. And just to remind you guys, if you want to get a retrograde reading, I do align the planets that we will be having in retrograde for the rest of 2026 into your personal chart, and I deliver it to you in a nice little PowerPoint presentation with attached voice notes. And then after you listen to your presentation, you reach out to me and we do a one-on-one session, and we go over whatever questions that you may have in response to me doing the reading for you. In addition to a retrograde reading, I also have full moon reading. For the next couple of days, as we have a full moon approaching, it'll be at 100% full on the 29th at 9:36 a.m. CST. So I'm on CST. So I have those. And then I also have, my astro chakra readings. If you just want to focus on your root chakra because you want to see what's going on with Saturn and Pluto right now, I can help you with that also, as well as your, your Capricorn placements. I can help you out with that also. And so that's what I got for you. You guys focus on, your Pluto and your Saturn and their aspect to one another and how that flows for you, and their aspects to your other placements in your chart to help you get into your Empress place and, find a sense of joy and expansion and abundance and happiness through the transformations and emotions coming. And we want you to be able to have compartmentalization and align your intellect with your heart. They shouldn't keep going back and forth all the time. It's good for them to go together, and that's going to help you in your solar plexus chakra and the opportunities and things like that that are going to come into your space. All right. So I love y'all so much. I'm gonna let y'all go because I'm gonna take it to him. I done organize myself. I'm getting back into my swing of things, and I'm gonna get my karma. We love it here. But peace, y'all. I appreciate you.